Cast the Craze is partnered with NSC Roadshow. NSCLiveTV.com and 8 Marketing are proud to present the NSC Roadshow podcast tour. As a creator, come to be treated like a rock star as we take you on a tour with podcasters from around the world. Got a Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or a project you would like to tell thousands about? Come and get on the tour. Are you a podcaster that would like more creators on your show? Come become a tour stop on the tour. What's up, Georgie? Who do we have on the show today?
What up, Sam? So today we have Adam Cagnon, Wally Hall Comics, and he will be talking about social studies comic, which sounds very interesting to me. We also have a topic of the day, which will be make sure you edit your work. We'll talk a little bit about that. We have the indie news, and we have the shameless plugs. We got a chock full of nuts show today, buddy.
Ain't nothing shameless about my plug. Let's get it.
We are the only show for independents all around, giving you a platform to spread your word all over town. Catch the Craze is the place to promote to your fans with the dream of Medina and Sam the Crazy Man. Subscribe to our show and never miss an episode. It's time to get your mans, listen to us on the go. Updated every week, we've never missed a day. Join the squad, come on in. It's time to catch the Craze. If you are an independent, catch the Craze. Making moves on your own, catch the Craze. On your grind in the streets, catch the Craze. Join the movement, catch the Craze.
Yeah, George, we did it again. Come on now. You know you want to do it. Catch the Craze. Welcome to Catch the Craze podcast. I am your host with the most, Sam the Crazy Man Vera, and I am with...
Wow, that music came in early. George, the Dreamer Medina. What's up, player?
What's going down, James Brown?
¿Qué pasa, Playboy? Listen, man, it's already May.
Yes.
The year is just passing us by, dude. Like,
she keeps on passing me by.
name that group.
I don't know the name. Oh, the Far Side.
Yeah. All right.
No
You were
play.
quick to be like, I don't know the group.
Yeah, and I was like, no, I know them.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I know them.
Man.
We went to Starbucks together.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
I was like saying that's a good story right there.
I know. I don't think Starbucks was around back then.
Nah, I don't. That was way before.
They were just Dunkin' Donuts. That's it.
It was just America ran on Dunkin' at the time. Still does apparently.
Yep.
So what's going on, Sam? What kind of stuff have you gotten into in the last couple of days?
Crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff. Well, all right, before you tell us the story, let's just welcome everybody to another episode of Catch the Craze. We're going to have a very good show today. We have a very good artist. Yeah. He's the artist on the book, right? The book is amazing, man. Comic book. It's called Social Studies. Mm-hmm. And that we're going to be talking to him about that, Hollyhock, and what that means. And it's going to be great. Also, don't forget, it is May 14th. Okay, May 14th, which means a few things. It means that we are getting closer to summer. Okay. And we're also getting closer to a lot more releases of our product. Now, at this point, it's May. So we are pretty much in the middle of our Kickstarter campaign, Kickstarter campaign for the Crazies, which is going through the end of the month.
Right.
So make sure that you're pledging to that. The Crazies number 3 is coming. We did 1 and 2. 3 is here now. And so we got that going on. Make sure you are pledging because we do have very limited copies of the books. We have 100 copies of holofoil.
1 and 2. Look at that. 1 and 2 right there. Thong.
Silver and gold covers. So that's issues
Silver
1 and 2.
And gold.
Issue 3 will be coming out as soon as the campaign is over. Thank you very much for everybody who has already pledged. And hopefully we have surpassed our goal by now, because this is the past and we're in the future.
And I'm eating on
camera.
The
present because we have. Oh, nice, man! I'm jealous.
Oh man.
So that's what's going on. make sure that you go to the PowCon at the end of the month and meet my friend right there, Mr. Samuel Vera, who will be at the show for the first time, doing a show since the lockdown.
I'll be there.
Since quarantine, he will be.
I'll
there.
be there
signing. What you got?
I'll be signing the Crazies. I'll be signing There's an Alien in My Toilet.
Ooh,
I'll be signing Forbidden. I'm just signing.
Yeah. He's gonna have a lot of Sharpies with him.
There's
also commissions. There are also commissions. He's gonna be doing commissions. He'll share that with you. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. So end of the month, make sure that you head out to PowCon out in Wayne, New Jersey. I can't even talk today. Wayne, New Jersey on May 29th.
Yeah.
May 29th through the 30th, 2-day show. Check them out there.
Yes.
And yeah, what else we got going on, Sammy? What else we got?
What's up, artists? Want to win some cool prizes? Well, I have a contest for you. Show us your best crazies. That's right. Draw the Catch the Crazies for a chance to win some cool prizes like a feature in the book, interview on the podcast, and some cool swag. Winners will be announced at PowCon at a live panel. It'll also be streaming live across the globe. Here's a chance for some bragging rights, some cool swag, and a feature in the book. Send your submissions to contact@catchthecraze.com. I just want to also plug my boy Jonathan, the Psycho Cyphex. He'll also be at PowCon. Right. So, we give him love because, he's grinding in the back end, trying to get his name out there. He's very proud of his What's in the Box rankings.
Yeah. He hits you up every day about that?
I just posted again. Yeah, so he's a celebrity. He's a celebrity.
He's a celebrity, baby.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
And for those who don't know, Mr. Syfax is a writer. He's got a book that he will have at the show. I believe the name of the book is The Lesson, which he has been working with. He's a writer on it, and the creator of the book is a gentleman by the name of Derek Peebles. So he will be there next to Sam. I think you guys have a table next to each other, or you requested one next to each other.
Yeah, I just said, but I asked for two things. Power. I said, if you want me to cover your event,
power.
If you want me to cover your event, and they do, I said, make sure I have power. And the second thing is, my boy Jonathan Syfax, I said, because you only gave me one chair, I need somebody to watch my table when I go and tinkle. So I said, hook me up maybe next to John. And so wherever they put me, there's got to be Power and John.
Nice. Power and John.
So that way I can go to the John.
So you need is Power and John so you can get to the John.
Yes.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Sounds like a smart man.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's going to be happening at the end of the month. So make sure you get on that.
Yep.
And I'm sure we're going to have a couple more things happening. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for announcements. Make sure you follow us on our social networks, on Instagram, on Facebook, and all those fun places. I'm sure there's going to be links at the bottom of this video, so I don't have to go into all that with you guys. But yeah, definitely check that out.
Yes. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that thumbs up.
That's the thing. That's the thing, guys. You guys gotta hit that button, subscribe, and stay subscribed, guys.
Yeah. So here is a message to everybody. I'm just gonna put it out there because a lot of indies that want to get on Catch the Craze, they subscribe to get on Catch the Craze, and once the show is done, they desubscribe. So look, if you're gonna subscribe, we're honored. We want you part of the team. But make sure it's pure and your intention is pure, that you're there to support, because this show is about you and the independent community and spotlighting, giving you a platform where it's limited. There's not many venues out there where we can promote each other, and so we do that because we love to do it. We love the independent circuit. So when you subscribe, 3 days before your show, and then you desubscribe after your show airs, it's not a good look for and so
it hurts.
If you're gonna do it and stay part of the team and show us some love, because we want to grow, and if we grow, you get more exposure. You grow.
We bring you with us, man.
Yes.
Wherever we go, you go. That's just the way it is. I mean, listen, when we have the guests that we have on the show, the stuff is genuine, man. Like there's a topic coming up in the next week about hustling, and I thought of that topic because of a group of a couple of gentlemen that we had on the show who were hustling like we used to hustle back in the days, getting into stores, calling stores themselves. Like that kind of stuff stays with us. So when we promote you guys, it isn't just for the day.
No.
Obviously you're on the show, but we're constantly going to be promoting and backing you. And if you guys have something going on, you can always reach out to us. Hey, yo, George, hey, yo, Sam, I got this thing going on. You mind if I plug it on your show? Dude, by all means, let's do it.
A favorite wise man once said, I got nothing but love for you, baby. I got nothing but love for you, honey.
May he rest in peace.
Yes, Heavy D.
Yes. So yeah, no, it's true, man. It's true, definitely. So make sure that you stay subscribed. You show us that love. We're gonna show it right back. That's just how we roll. That's just how we roll.
Yes.
But yeah, so what do we have in indie news today, Sam?
In indie news, what do we have? In other news, so indie news, this is more of a learning experience. So, I created kids books. I have a lot of children's books, and I've sent them out to publishers. And I got congratulations. We selected you to publish your book. Blah blah blah. I'm excited. I'm jumping for joy. Right? I'm like through the roof. And then they sent a contract, and I read the contract, and the contract says that to be published, I have to pay a fee. I was like, wait, hold on, what? And so I was like, sucker said, what? We talking about this. And so I'm like, what? And I'm like, wait, hold on.
Through that curveball.
Yeah, and it says, and there's a range. If we choose to publish in soft paperback, then your fee is this amount. If you choose to do it, and I'm like, wait, why am I paying you? I said, and so I went back to the website, and there's nowhere I see where it says pay to publish. It was a publisher saying submissions, and I didn't see any of that in there. So immediately, like my emotions, I just deflated. I was like, "This really?" Yeah. So it's a word to the. I think it's what happened was I was submitting to so many publishers. I've been looking through that website. I still don't see where it says pay to play. But it's a word to the wise. Know who your audience is. Know who you're targeting as far as in the publishing industry. To avoid that work, because that was work formatting it, putting it, meeting their criteria, because every publisher has a different criteria of what they want from you. Some of them want a pitch, someone want a backstory, some want a full synopsis, some want all the pages, some want half the pages, so that was a very discouraging moment after I was dancing in the room. I was like, yeah. And then I was like, wah.
That's crazy. He's like, congratulations. You are getting published. But first, pay us some money. Wow.
Yo, I couldn't believe it. I was like, no, I'm a brokepreneur. I ain't got no dough. What are you doing?
That is some news. But that's typical indie news, right? Yes. You say you get all excited, you got this thing going on, and then all of a sudden, nah, man, you got to pay
It's like winning the lotto. I was like, yeah, baby.
Oh man,
and I was pissed.
Wow, that's sad. That made me sad. Holy cow.
Made me even sadder. But yeah, so
no, definitely.
I learned a lesson. Jesus. Make sure I do my homework and ask around, and
wow.
Jeez. Luckily, I know how to read contracts. Now, I said, wait, hold on. What's they say? That's pay you?
Funny, dude.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
They're like 2,500 if we. Yeah.
I'll get more info on this off. I'm curious to find out who this was, but yeah, no.
Oh, it's a big publisher. What's the name? I forgot the name of the publisher.
Big publisher. Jesus.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Wow. All right. Well, there it is. Be careful, boys, girls. Don't get duped. Make sure you read that fine line.
Yeah, they said that contract quick too. I was like, oh no, I'm good.
Yeah, don't forget to read that fine line.
Yeah, it ranged. There was a range. The lowest was 2,500, and then it went up to almost 10 grand or whatever. I was like, oh hell no.
What?
I said, I ain't got the dough. I'm a brokepreneur.
Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Why should you even have to pay for that?
Yes, it's crazy. I was like, nah. But you live and you learn.
You live and you learn, for sure. Wow. All right. Well, on to the next thing. Jeez. That hurts. All right. Well, listen. Don't forget to read your contracts, and also let's go to get your meds.
Let's go to get your meds.
It's time for your medicine.
Don't forget to edit your work. What do you mean by this, Georgie?
Don't forget to read your contracts and don't forget to edit your work. Yeah, so editing your work. I remember when we first came out into the scene, into the independent scene back in 2003, 4, right? We did that first convention and we printed our books. One thing that I think that we get so excited, and we do, you know, when you're first coming out, you get so excited. There were tons of just typos in our work, just typo after typo, because listen, first of all, there's no crew. There's no team. There's no, not team, but there's no, you know, editor. There's no penciler, inker, you know, colorist. There isn't a staff put together to put these books together. It's just me, and it was Sam. And at the time, it was, you know, big shout out to Robert Nunez, who was doing, what was the name of his, can't remember the name of his comic, but it was just us.
Yeah.
So everybody had the job to do their own book. So you penciled, you lettered, you inked, you did everything on your books. And so there were tons of just mistakes. So I guess what I'm saying in this particular topic is don't forget to edit your work, look over it, make sure you're reading over it, you know, make sure that you don't have the dumb typos you're missing. Get somebody to read it. You know, one of the biggest, and I should have put it in here on the graphic. Don't forget to edit your work. The word "your," like there's Y-O-U-R, there's Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. You know what I mean? So you got to make sure that you're using the right one when you're writing, you know, a sentence. You know, your work is not Y-O-U apostrophe R-E work, because that would be you-are work.
Right.
So that happens a lot with the word then,
yes,
there. Like, so you have to be really careful when you're writing. I mean, obviously, when we're writing and creating, we're just typing it out.
I have to say though, whoever came up with the vocabulary to have so many versions of every word must have been puffing the magic dragon like. I bet you they'll screw this one up.
Let me make sure there sounds like two other words.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's like Jay and Silent Bob were just giggling and coming up with the vocabulary. It's like, here, take it.
Yeah, let's just really screw these guys up because they're not going to look. No. But you have to look. You have to look because, and don't get me wrong, this happens at all levels. It's not just us indies, because I've seen typos in like novels and stuff like that, which kind of sucks because you figure you're paying an editor to do that.
You know, I think a lot of it has to do with, I think you find more errors now than you did, say, 20 years ago.
You think so? Why?
Because now we're so dependent on technology, we're assuming it's going to autocorrect.
Word.
So we don't feel like we have to, so we've gotten lazy. Just like now, if you go to any random person in the streets and say, tell me your best friend's phone number.
I don't know.
Tell me your mom's phone number. If they're going to back, I got to look it up. Right? But back then, I would memorize 50 numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I would know everybody's number right here.
Yeah.
Back, now it's like, tell me how you would get from here to here. Oh, I use my GPS.
That's right.
Before, you had to drive.
Yeah.
You would stop somebody. Hey, how do I get to whatever? They go, well, you know what? If you take the I-95 and you get off at exit 7, and then what you're going to see is you're going to see a gas station, make a left. You got to remember that. Right, and then you go, or you have a map, or whatever, and then you have to. You were self-sufficient, and you were learning. Yeah. I think the learning has hit a roadblock with technology because we've been so dependent. We're not learning. We take everything that we read and we think it's gospel. We don't do the research. We're a world of taglines and all that other stuff. So I think what happens is, I mean, how many times my fat fingers on these small phones trying to type, and then you get something like today. I sent Nerds of the Round a text, right? And it said stop acting up, and it said Stain acting up instead of stop. I didn't look. I sent. You know what I mean?
That's what the smartphone thinks you want to say. No, it is true, man, and it's funny because it's happened so fast.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, you talk about 20 years, right? But if you think about it, 20 years ago, when you stepped out of the house, or like when we were going to some of these conventions, right? I think 20 years ago, we might have had, and you look at 20 years, that's 2001, okay, maybe less, 15 years ago, we had MapQuest. Remember MapQuest? Mm-hmm. You go online, go on the website, type in your directions. Basically, it's what's on your phone now, and you print it out and you grab the that with you so that you had it for your co-pilot will have the directions so you can get through. And now it's just evolved, but it started. It had already begun. Like it had already started. And you're right. I don't know anybody's phone number anymore. I don't know how to get to my house, like from anywhere outside of 15 minutes, which kind of sucks for me. I'm just bad with directions. But the other thing is we're so reliant on that phone or on that computer to correct the spelling of a word. And you got to remember, the spelling of the word and what it's supposed to be doing in a sentence are two different things, because the computer knows that you misspelled the word and, right? But it doesn't know that you meant to use the word am in a sentence. So it's just going to say, hey, look, dude, you misspelled this word. I'm going to correct it for you. It's and now you have a sentence that makes no sense. Because you didn't think to read it again. You just, trusted that the computer was right and you moved on. And now you have a stupid typo on your book. So make sure you edit your work. Make sure you read through it. Make sure you're meticulous about this stuff because it's important. It's important. Because you know what you want to say, but your reader doesn't. Yeah. It's what it is.
Exactly. And I think we talked about it.
Always have another set of eyes.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough that when I was living in a condo, my neighbor
was a teacher and an editor. So I'd have her, a Deli Burrito. And I had her edit my stuff. I'd have her make sure that, my periods were where they needed to be, my commas were where they needed to be, the sentence structure. I didn't want her to change my story. I just wanted to make sure that everything was correct. And because, English wasn't my strong point. And
no, but you know what too, Sam? Not just English. Once you've written something, you know what you wrote. So when you read it, you're reading what your brain knows you wrote. Not what's on the page, but what your brain said was supposed to be on the page.
How many times you see something, whether it's on social media, Google, YouTube, or Instagram, and it says you read this incorrectly, and when you go back, because you skip, and you think what you saw, you just took a snapshot. It's like, oh, I missed the whole damn two lines in there, and because we've grown to have lazy eyes. It's we read in shorthand. And it's like we take snippets, and we don't get the full picture, and that's where mistakes happen. That's where misunderstandings happen. It affects all parts of, not just in literature, but it affects everything. And I think
text, anything.
Anytime you're going to produce anything that's going to represent your craft, your creativity, you as a brand, it is in your best interest to make sure that you go out and get as many eyes on it before you go public with it, because first impressions are lasting impressions. You don't want to be known as that guy, that girl, that races to the finish line and stumbled along the way and forgot half the stuff.
Yeah, true. No, it's true. It's true. You definitely don't want to, because it's a bad look, and you stay with that. I mean, your stuff better be phenomenal. Even then, it's like, dude, what are you doing? Come on.
Yeah, what do you think you're doing, eh?
Hey, what do you think?
What's the matter, you, eh?
Then you get people sending you freaking contracts to pay to put you on.
I was so depressed.
I can't believe that happened. That's insane. Yeah, so don't forget to edit your work.
You know what that was like?
Don't forget.
You know what that was like? Here's a story. I was in junior high school.
Uh-oh.
And her name was Maria. And oh my God, I was so attracted to her. And then I didn't think she was ever interested in me. Then all of a sudden, she sends word that she's interested in me and she likes me and she wants to meet with me. In 7th grade, I'm like, what? So, I was still growing up. I didn't have like a male mentor, guide me through all this stuff when it came to girls. So I write this letter to express what I think about her or whatever. She read the letter. When I showed up, she wasn't there. And she had her friend there saying she's no longer interested.
She had a representative?
Yes. Her name was Jasmine. She had Jasmine standing there waiting for me to say she's no longer interested because I showed that I was too into her. And she wanted, and it was a test to see if she could get me And then when she seen that I was smitten, she's like, so my biggest mistake was expressing my undying devotion in that letter. And boom. So that's what this was like. You know, it's like, congratulations, blah, blah, blah. And like, but you got to pay, bro. And I'm like, oh, you know, yeah. So, yeah, Maria, you broke my heart. 7th grade.
She said, no thanks.
Junior high school, Elizabeth Blackwell, 210.
She's a savage. Wow. Yes. What is Maria's up to now?
Beast.
That is savagery.
Yeah, I always said girls are more mature than guys because 95% of everything I've experienced with women, they were the ones who made the first advance. They were just like, I don't want to talk, man. I'm like, oh, what? It's like, not even a hug.
I love you.
It's like, wait, but this is so beautiful tonight. Yeah.
Look at the stars.
What do you mean? I've already bought tickets to the movie. No, I don't want movies. Like, come on.
Wow. All right. Interesting.
It was crazy.
Poor you. Poor Sammy.
Yeah. I was like a freaking licorice stick or something. I was like, come on.
Yeah,
I got feelings. I have feelings. It's like,
yeah, feelings. Yeah.
You know, it's like, come on.
Wow, a licorice stick. Interesting. Okay. All right.
The Laffy Taffy.
Wow. Hey, sugar daddy.
I know. I was like, come on.
Wow. You always leave us in these moments. You're like, okay, what do we do now? I swear to you, that was Get Your Meds for you tonight.
Woo.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen,
don't
forget to edit your work. Make sure that you're out there and you're double checking, crossing those T's and dotting those I's.
Yes.
Oh man, and apparently, and according to Sam, don't show your feelings
too
soon.
Play hard to get.
Play hard to get.
They say they want love, and then they play hard to get.
That's still the thing. Okay.
That's the way you do it. You gotta pretend you're not interested. And that's what happened. She thought I wasn't interested. She wanted to see if she can get me. Next, she was like, I really like
she's like,
you.
oh, he's interested. Like, I'm done.
She was, nah, it's too much. She's smothering me. Get out of here. Yo. So I see that our guest is in the room, Adam Cagnon. Right. And so we're going to run to commercial break. When we come back, we'll have him in the studio.
Let's do it.
I don't know which one I'm doing.
Do you have a Kickstarter campaign and you're trying to figure out how to get the word out? You look online and you see the competition is fierce. Comic-Cons are slowly coming back, but in the meantime, how do you spread the word? You worked for hours creating your campaign. You post on as many social media sites as possible, trying to get the word out to no avail. Well, look no further. Why not sponsor an episode of Catch the Craze podcast, the fastest growing indie podcast in the market today? That 30-second promo can get you an extra 2 to 3 backers or more. Who knows? Let's go. Hit the link below and get one step closer to a successful campaign.
Hello there. Howdy.
Looks like it's still
There we go.
There you go. What's up, buddy?
Adam?
Hey, how's it going?
How you doing, man? I'm George. That's Sam. I guess you know Sam. How you doing, man?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
I'm digging the t-shirt, dude.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
That's awesome, brother. Nice. So, welcome to the show. Catch the Craze.
Yes. Welcome to the show. We definitely want to talk to you about your social studies. But before we go into that, who are you? What do you do?
Aside from social studies?
Uh-huh.
Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah. Let the audience know who you are and what do you do.
Okay. My name's Adam. I'm in upstate New York. Fan of all things pop culture. Always loved comics, so it's cool to be creating my own. But aside from that, because we're going to get there, I've been doing a YouTube channel for So Wizard Podcast. That's kind of how I found you guys, through the podcasting network. My day job, I'm a web developer, flip houses, try to keep busy. So kind of a little bit of everything.
There you go. Outstanding. So let's go back. Did you always grow up in upstate New York?
Yeah, I've been here since I was 5. So
okay.
My whole life.
So growing up, what were you into?
I was never really into sports or anything. Always liked, video games. comics, the normal kid stuff. Used to do a lot of camping. I still try to go hiking when I can. Mountains aren't too far away from me. I just try to keep busy. I can't sit idle. I've always had that problem.
Right. So what was the first comic you read, if you can remember?
For me, it was the 90s X-Men run. That really good run when the X-Men cartoon show was going on at the same time.
That was the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
I still have a whole long box of that 90s X-Men run in the closet here.
Yeah, I remember on Sundays when I would go to work, we had this lounge area, and they would always have the TV playing Sunday mornings, the X-Men animated series and Spider-Man.
Yep.
I'd go up there, have my coffee, waiting for my shift to start. I missed. Even the theme song was amazing.
Yeah. And that was my ringtone for a while.
Nice. So, was it your intention to go into comics growing up?
Not really. It's weird because when I grew up, like I liked comics, I liked superheroes. I obviously knew comic books were a thing, but I didn't really have access to a comic shop. So I just kind of picked them up at garage sales that I could ride my bike to in the neighborhood. Getting here and there, things like that. I didn't really understand getting like a run of comics until, I was like 14 and started high school. And I always liked drawing, but I was never great at it. And I always liked doing creative stuff, but I never felt like I was all that good at. Like writing, I would always do a little bit, but when you're doing school, you write papers that you have to write. It's not something you want to do. It's not fun. So I kind of fell out of it and then discovered it again later.
Nice. So what was your first attempt of creating a comic book?
When Mike and I first met, we were both 14. It was 9th grade. He was going to be here. He got a work call out. He's got a job that happens.
Right.
And he was always big into drawing too. He's been drawing since he was like 4, since he could hold a pencil. And I was late to class. He was the only open seat was next to him. I sat down. He was drawing characters from StarCraft, which is a game that I loved. And we just hit it off right away. So in high school, he would just draw in composition notebooks, and he would do something just to make, me and my other friends laugh, or our other friends laugh. He'd pass it to me. I'd do my own version of his style, pass it to somebody else. They'd do their own version. And then we kind of like got art lessons from him, just asking for pointers and stuff. So that's kind of what reignited it.
Wow, that's awesome, dude. So you're both artists.
He's the artist.
He's the artist. You're the writer.
Yeah, and I also color.
Oh, okay.
I learned the coloring.
No, dude, that's awesome, and I love that story. You guys have known each other since you were little kids. I have a friend who I've known the same amount of time. That's like the best friendships, right? Because you know each other for a very long time. Now, growing up, and I as far as the writing part of it, did you take creative writing classes, or like how did you get into the whole writing side of comics?
Throughout school, like the writing classes I had to take, I would always go overboard. Like whenever I was given a little bit of room on that leash in school to do some writing, I would just take it and run with it. I mean, I even was failing macroeconomics, and I talked my teacher into letting me write a paper on macroeconomics instead, and I got a good grade in the class. So like I'd always use writing as a tool like that.
Nice.
And then I had this really boring desk job a few years ago, and I had a ton of downtime there. It was a lot of just like be ready for when they say jump, but I had to sit in a cubicle with nothing else to do. So I was like, I might as well learn the skill. Like get back into writing. And I started taking some online writing classes, and you kind of realize reading comics, reading books, watching movies your whole life, the 3-act structure, the climax of the movie, the inciting incident, all those typical terms. You already know them, even if you don't know them.
Yeah, you just didn't know you knew them.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's so funny, man. Yeah, it's a good way to look at it, because if you think about it, you do. And I think everything that happens to us in life almost occurs that way, right? It's like a whole story being told throughout. So that's very interesting that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know, Sammy, I don't know if you had a follow-up question to that, but I had a question about the name of the comic book company, so to speak. Wally Hawk Comics. Why Wally Hawk Comics?
When we were 16, let's see, we met when we were 14, Mike and I. And then after a year and a half, his family moved to Paris. So we really only knew each other in person for a year and a half, and this was pre-Facebook and everything. We only had AOL Instant Messenger to keep in touch. And we managed to like find the time when there was like enough layover before they went to school, when I was going to bed, or whatever the time difference was. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
And then his family moved back to the States, and we were hanging out one summer, and we knew we wanted to do something with these characters in this world we were building, even though that version from, what would that be, like 2002 at that point, was nothing like what it is now. I mean, we've way improved. At least I hope so. And my parents knew a copyright lawyer, and they said, hey, this guy will give you a really good deal. He'll do the paperwork if you want to copyright your idea and your characters. So we went in to do that with drawings of them all and descriptions and what the stories were about and things like that. And he's like, okay, I need a company name. We had no idea. I had a bird named Wally, and he liked hawks, so we just crammed them together. And
that is great.
Yeah, because I can tell you, I was confused for a minute because is his name Wally Hawk? I was like, yeah, it confused me for a little bit, but I figured it out.
Nice, yeah. The name turned out to be good because a lot of people like you guys are like, what is that? But nobody else has it, and it's easy to remember. So
Wally Hawk, yeah, sure, absolutely, man. That's awesome. All right, so you have Wally. So now you have Wally Hawk. You have the company. You have Wally Hawk Comics, right? And you have this idea, and you copyright it. Where did social studies comic come from? Where did that evolve? I mean, and I read some of that, what you sent us, but tell us where it came from.
Yeah, so after we got the copyright, we were 16 maybe at the time, so we weren't really ready to do it serious, even if we thought we were at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was still a lot of us just kind of like winging it, coming up with it on the fly, making each other laugh, making our friends laugh. And then, he lived in Virginia to finish high school, so we never lived in the same place again, so it was always hard to see each other. So we'd send drawings back and forth here and there, but it was never anything super serious. And then when I was at that boring job, when I was taking all these classes and things, I was like, I'm going to write it as if it's a TV episode, because we always had animation in mind.
Yes.
I didn't know how to write a comic script. I was taking screenwriting classes. So I was like, I'm going to write it like a TV episode, and I'm going to make it the best it can possibly be. And I'm going to send it to Mike and say, do you want to make like a real planned out scheduled go at this? And that's pretty close to the first issue that I sent over to you guys. We tweaked it here and there together because I'm credited as the writer, but really we break the story together. Then I go down and write a script, then we both read it, and then we change things. So we're kind of both the writer.
Yeah.
But I did that first version just to be like, I'm serious about this. Are you in? And, we're both married. We both have careers, so it's hard to find the time. But He said, yes, I think now is the time that we need to finally, take it serious. Sorry, that didn't even answer your question.
No. I know. I mean, it's a whole process. I mean, social studies. I'm just wondering where the name social studies came from. But yeah, no. I mean, you were answering the question.
Right. Yeah. That was just a long way to get there.
I'm sure you were getting there. I was like, he's getting there. I know he's getting there. He's coming.
We always just called it Len, Turner, and Roy. It was the three main characters. It was just the three guys, and then we added in the girls just to be their girlfriends, which we realized if we're going to make this a real story, they can't just be, like an accessory. They have to be characters. And we had to introduce some new characters. So Len, Turner, and Roy didn't work anymore. It didn't mean anything to anybody. So we thought social studies was clever because 14 to 18, you're in high school. You think you're becoming an adult. You're learning who you are. You're learning what you want to do. You're meeting good friends. So you're learning, you're literally studying how to socialize. And also social studies is a subject everyone has to take in high school. So it kind of worked both ways.
Yeah, no, that's clever. No, that is good. That is good when you break it down that way. Because I was reading through the first issue that you sent over, and it does read like almost like a 90s sitcom. Like it read like Saved by the Bell. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was one of those things where it was very episodic, like boom, boom, boom. The kids were running through and you're meeting all of these characters, and there's a lot of characters and they're all funny, they're fun. And it does bring you back to like high school experiences, But I did notice that the style of art, it reminded me a lot of it reminded me almost like Garfield, like the way they would draw Garfield. It was very much of that in that style. So you guys were thinking animation, you said, right from the beginning. So you're still thinking that? That's
still the goal for sure. Yeah. And I love that you say that it reminded you of the 90s style, because that's 100% what we were going for. And it's actually really fun to talk to you about it because everybody pulls out what cartoon it reminds them of. We've gotten Doug, Rocco's Modern Life, Recess, Ed, Ed, and Eddie, and all those things. I mean, Mike still watches cartoons daily now. He just absorbs and then makes it his own.
Yeah. Dude, I'm a huge fan of like that stuff. Like I have and you know, we both, I think cartoons are like, I love cartoons. I used to love the Disney Afternoon back in the day. So I you know, I created characters, you know, with that in mind. So I can totally see where the references come from. But so you have how many issues do you have? I know you sent us the 2 issues. Do you have more issues that you guys have worked on, or?
Yeah, 3 is out now. We're doing 1 a month. So 3 is out now, and then 4 will come out April 1st.
Awesome, man. How long does it take? It obviously takes you a month. Or do you guys done them in advance?
It takes us more than a month, so we have a backlog.
Nice.
We got the whole first chapter done, which is going to be 7 issues before we started. So we're going to do 1 through 7, 1 a month, and then we're going to take 2 to 3 months and compile them into like a trade. But also we want to put in, you know, I have all the old drawings and composition notebooks from 1999 through 2003 or whatever. I have stuff he would mail me when he was in Paris, that he was in the Marine Corps, and he would do drawings on the back of whatever he had on his post and mail it to me when he could. And I saved all of it. So we want to like stack the back of our trades with kind of like our history, but also the history of the comic.
That's awesome, because I always felt that that's always the best part of the book, is looking at the development of it and the backstory. Yeah. It's almost like, you know, the old DVDs when you would always get all of those behind the scenes. The features.
And that was my thought too, because I love that. I still buy the hard media so I could listen to the commentaries and watch.
Right.
Yes. Yes. There's nothing like it. So talk about your branding, your logo. Whose idea was it for that specific look and that color?
We actually always had this orange. We knew a guy, he actually makes video games now, Ska Studios. You can look his stuff up. He made our first website for us in like 2001. It was a really simple thing. We didn't even really have anything to put on it. We just put some drawings and talked about, we just thought it was cool to have a website. Right. And he chose this orange randomly. So I remembered the hex code, and now we put this orange in everything we do. It shows up at least a little bit.
Nice.
And I found this font that I wanted it to look like something you would do in Sharpie markers when you're bored in study hall or something like that. Like you do it on your school notebook.
Nice. No, I like the look, and I was just wondering what was the thought process behind it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. So talk about the characters.
We kind of took a different approach where it's not like there's a character named Len who's kind of shy and insecure, and he's kind of the new kid. That's not necessarily me or Mike. And then there's Turner, who's kind of more carefree and funny and confident. And that's not necessarily me or Mike. What we did was we split our personalities, where the totally insecure, always being, he was the new kid. He went to, I think, 14 different schools by the time he finished high school. I was in the same one the whole way through, so I didn't really have that. But I was always shy, and I was always, like the scrawny kid in the back of the room trying not to be noticed. And he was always the new kid. So we took both of our personalities, and that became Len. And then Turner was kind of the guy we wished we were in high school, where we could crack jokes and didn't really care what people thought and kind of keep that going. Roy is more of the angry side of us, because everyone goes through it as a teenager. You're confused, you don't know what's going on, and you just kind of get angry at times. You might not even know why. Right. So that's kind of Roy. He's trying to figure things out, and he's mad about it, but he's not such a downer all the time. And Wesley is pretty much like our full-on, I mean, they're all cartoon characters, obviously, but he's like our full-on cartoon. He's wacky. He's completely surface level. He doesn't have any deeper thought. He's just going for whatever he thinks is funniest. Right. And then we developed the female characters more, where we did want to have Vicky's the blonde girl. She is the typical 90s sitcom or like John Hughes movie cheerleader character. But as you get into her past, she's doing that on purpose. Like, she's emulating that. And that kind of, butts up with who she really is at a point. And Iris used to just kind of be the girl next door who was kind of one of the guys. And I've been writing her modeled after my wife more. Like, my wife does jujitsu and stuff. She has mostly guy friends because of her jujitsu experience. Mm-hmm. So we're taking a lot of that and putting it into Iris to, give her a fully developed personality and something more unique than like, oh, that's cheerleader, that's jock, that's nerd, because we want to steer away from that after we introduce them.
Yeah, so I'm looking at, I just want to make sure I get the name right. Hold on one second. Turner. So it is a unique style to the ink work with Turner because you purposely leave out a black line on his head.
Mm-hmm.
What was the thought process? Yes,
he's got the gray eye, right?
Yeah. So what was the thought process behind that?
Leaving the line out, because when I was first coloring him, I was actually filling in the whole back of the head with color. And Mike actually called me one day and said, hey, if it's not too much trouble, I want you to erase that. I want the head to end in the eye, the oversized eyes, and the one's gray, one's white, and then his hat just kind of floats there. He wanted to, like, take him away and make him more cartoony. So we added, like, the goofy teeth, because that was a new addition just for, you know, the current iteration of the comic and things like that to make it more cartoony.
That's great, dude. Yeah. And it almost looks like it's like colored in by hand. You're coloring this digitally, right? You're just making it look like it's by hand?
Yeah. Okay. We really like the hand look. And the first version, sorry, Mike actually drew it all with real pencils on Bristol board and then inked it with India inks. But he's in Seattle and I'm in New York.
Right.
So he didn't know how to get me the originals to color. And we tried high resolution scans, like going to Kinko's or UPS or whatever. We tried, you know, digital camera with proper lighting and then cleaning it up in Photoshop. And it all became so much extra work for a worse result. So that the first 5 pages of that issue were probably drawn 7 times by the time we just said, let's go all digital. And
okay.
Interesting. Yeah, I do the coloring by hand. I got a brush set from another comic artist. He was selling them on his site. And I do the oil kind of look to kind of smudge it and make it look hand done.
Yeah, dude, that looks great.
Thank you.
It really does look good, man. I like it.
No, I love it. And I mean, so as far as references, is it all from his head as far as the look of the classrooms? Is it all from memory? Does he do any research?
As far as I know, it's 100% from his head.
Nice.
He might reference like a specific thing if we need it, but I know we're working on issue 9 right now. Currently, I was talking to him earlier, and we have a scene in a coffee shop. And he drew it while he was in his living room. And he's like, oh, yeah, it's this coffee shop that I used to go to at my old house in Seattle. So he hadn't even been there in a couple of years, and he just kind of made it happen.
Yeah, I love the concept. And I love the fact that you guys you call them chapters, because in a book, you know, a social studies book, there's chapters in the book. So you're doing chapter 1 is 7 issues essentially, right? And then is that going to be the count, like 7 issues per chapter? Is that almost like seasons?
That's actually it also, which is funny that you mentioned that. Chapter 1 is 7 because the first issue, I was doing this overcomplicated thing where I'm like, this should kind of be issue 0 because it introduces the characters. But then if you read issue 2, like the pace and the tone of the story are a lot different. It's a lot funnier because we have the space to do that. We're not introducing everybody. And the more I talked about it, the more Mike was just like, you're making this way more complicated than it needs to be. Issue 1, issue 2, let's go. So chapter 1 is 7 issues to get the introduction in there. And then we're going to 6 for the rest, just because what we read is Marvel and DC do 6 issues for a trade. Not that we have to follow their rule, but
it's just easier, I guess, to just do it that way. I think, well, it's like, I know the first one was like 31 pages or something like that. Are they all going to be that thick?
Usually in the mid-20s.
Okay.
A couple of the early ones, that was me learning how to write, and, you know, writing a 30-page script, which is supposed to be 30 minutes of TV, isn't necessarily 30 drawn pages.
Right.
So that was kind of a part of the learning process.
Dude, I love it. I love it, Adam. This is really, really good. What are you guys doing? Are you guys trying to do any crowdfunding for this, or are you putting it in stores? What's the plan for social studies?
Our thought on crowdfunding, and I don't mean this to disparage anybody who went straight to crowdfunding, but the way we thought of it is nobody knows who we are. We haven't done anything in comics yet. You know, we're not like a name like, oh, it's their new book, let's check it out. We wanted to build that audience on our own and then kind of like bring them with us to crowdfunding when we decided to do it.
Nice.
The trade I was talking about earlier, we're thinking that's going to be a Kickstarter or Indiegogo, whatever we decide on, but kind of crowdfund that because it's going to be a bigger endeavor, more expensive printing.
Yeah. No, makes sense.
Yeah.
And right now you're in stores, or?
So far, just our website, and we are on Comixology, but as far as the physical copies, just our website.
Sweet.
Outstanding.
Excellent.
So where can people reach you guys?
Socialstudiescomic.com is our website. We're also on, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram as Social Studies Comic, and Twitter is Social Studies CB because it didn't fit the full name.
Outstanding.
Gotcha.
Yeah, outstanding.
No, this looks great, man. Congratulations. Thank you so much for the two. I'm actually going to order physical. I like the physical copies. I like to flip through the pages.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Look at the stuff. So definitely we'll be getting some orders from me. But thank you so much for coming on the show, Adam. We'll definitely want to do like a follow-up. Maybe once you guys have the trade going.
Yeah, when we get closer to the trade, it'd be great to do it with Mike, too, because I'll give you a lot better insight on his drawing process and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will be featuring your first issue on What's in the Box. So that'll be another form of plugging it and hopefully bring another set of eyes to what you guys are doing, because it's fun, has a lot of heart, and I think you guys have something going there. I mean, I like the look, I like the art style, I like the story. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a quick read, man. It's a really quick read. It goes like that. So.
Hey, I think anytime it's fun, it's a quick read. I think when it's not fun, it's a long process.
You're like,
I hope you're not doing that.
Dude. And you know what? There's like the word balloons are like so small, and they just say quick, like witty, just things like that go through. Like this is one scene that cracked me up. This kid slapping the crap out of another kid. I'm like, what the hell? Like it just made me chuckle out loud. It was good. It's a good book, man. It's a good book.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thanks, buddy. And I'll send you the link once this is ready.
Great, I appreciate it.
You got it.
Take care.
All right,
you too.
Take care.
If you can hear me, please help us to be the best podcast in the universe. I thought you'd never ask.
So we're back, and that was these guys got some fun stuff, man. I mean, I like the art style. Yeah, I like the comic book. You hit it on the nose when you said it reminded you like of Garfield.
Yeah, you saw the eyes. Yeah, man, like that style. It was good though. It was great. I liked it.
I like the fact that at 16 they were thinking about being.
Dude, they had a copyright lawyer. I'm like, what were they doing at 16 years old? Oh man, that's great though. Good for them.
I need a lawyer to get out of jail.
And listen, and distance didn't matter because Paris, Seattle now, New York, it doesn't matter. They're still getting it done. They have 3 issues. The 3rd issue came out in April. Pretty sure
they're working on issue 9.
The 4th issue now. Yeah, in the back. They got stuff ready to rock. So yeah, definitely make sure you go to socialstudiescomic.com.
Yeah, check it out. Really
Order
cool.
your comic.
And I like what they're doing. They said they want to build that audience, build that fan base. It's very smart of them. So yeah, I think it's everybody has a different approach to their strategy. And there's no right or wrong. You just gotta do what you feel is good for you and your brand.
But you know what? The one thing that's in common with all of these, you can whatever you want to take, whatever route you want to take, it still comes down to hustle. It still comes down with how hard you work. Mm-hmm. Because just because they had these 6 issues and they're ready to go for their trade in the Kickstarter, it doesn't mean that they formed the fan base. You just have 6 issues out, doesn't mean anything unless they did the hard work to get there. And it sounds like they are doing it. They're going on shows, they're promoting it, they're talking about it, they have a website. So absolutely. Let's end the show on the shameless plug, Sam, before we go.
Shameless plug.
You've been plugged.
So keep your plugs away from me. What's up?
Who you got up on the screen there?
I think that was Jerry.
Jerry Winsborough. I can't see it, so that's why I had to ask. I wasn't sure which one you popped up there. Jerry Winsborough, yeah, definitely, guys. Jerry has been a supporter for many, many years. He had a book way back in the day called The Mass Trade, and that was his first venture into comics. He now has over, I don't know, he's got like over 6 titles that he's working on right now. and he's planning a Kickstarter. By the time this airs, hopefully the Kickstarter would have been out already, and I wish I would have known, because then I would have been plugging that. But either way, make sure you check out Jerry Winsborough on Instagram. He has a whole line, like I said, of comics, and Pyramid Graphics, I believe, is the name that he's chosen. And yeah, check it out. Jerry, thank you very much for the support, supporting you right back. You've been plugged, sir.
You've been plugged. So with that said, if you want to promote your book or your campaign or whatever you have planned and down the road, why not promote it on our show on Catch the Craze? It's as simple as selecting which sponsorship level you want. Do you want a weekly, a monthly, a single, whatever it is, we got you covered. You can promote your campaign, you can promote your Kickstarter, you can promote your bar mitzvah, whatever it is. And you create a 30-second spot. We will plug it on the show, and you get some recognition and the link to whatever it is that you're promoting. It's as simple as that. And don't forget to subscribe. Right? We need you to grow. That's right. We can't do this without you. You heard us in the beginning. We meant it. And show us some love and give us a thumbs up. What do you think about this show?
Right. That's right. That's right. Don't forget to check Sam out at the PowCon at the end of the month. Don't forget that. Don't forget.
I'll be at Pow.
Please pledge to our Kickstarter that's on right now for the Crazies.
The Crazies. Look at that cover. That cover's beautiful.
Catch the Crazies 3 on Kickstarter. Go on Kickstarter, search it, or go to our social networks, and the links will be all over those.
Look at the Crazies. Look at the Crazies are coming. Look at the tattoos.
Crazycomics.com is CRAZEE comics.com. Go to getyourmeds.com. Yes. All the links will be on those both those websites. Let's change it.
I know. He's like he changed his S to a Z.
No more S.
Sam does everything masterfully.
You want to call it? Anyway, fellas, thank you very much for joining the show.
I'm Sam, the Crazy Man Vera.
George the Dreamer Medina.
And we are out.
It's just easy. It's not.
Crazy. Acquiesce.
No, I was talking about my friend Acquiesce. I met him. Say my name, right?
This is what you were thinking? Oh,
he described me. He said, I'm the...
What? Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze. To Catch the Craze. You are listening to Catch the Craze on Catch the Craze. You're listening to Catch the Craze.
Candy girl.